we go. I do believe we are live. So I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and a holy friend. Thank you for joining me once again on another conscious evolution. Choosing to be here out of everywhere else on the internet right now. I appreciate you so much. Yesterday, you dear friends strongly recommended that I watch a movie called A Never Ending Story. And me respecting your friends' opinions so much, I couldn't help but. So I did. And I liked it. So many friends joining us already. Duck Dad and Shannon and Nana and beloved Loizana. Brother Dan as well, the bearded patriot himself. Blessings to you, bro. We have Maxine here, and we have Natalie here, and there's Joy Vive. Blessings to you, dear friend. How was Amara's big day? Thank you for asking, Loazana. Shell, too. Blessings. So many blessings to you, friends. Yeah, so today's whole stream is going to be about imagination. Can you imagine why I would talk about imagination today after yesterday's movie? The movie The Neverending Story, this is probably like some spoiler vibes, but the movie came out in 1984, so I'm not gonna feel bad about it. It's basically centered around this theme of imagination, human imagination, creating a whole world. In this story, they called the world Fantasia, and it's basically an extension of all of us. Hey, Zano, it's nice seeing you too. That there's this world that is the collective of all human imagination, and the world is being consumed by what they call the nothing. And when we stop imagining, there creeps in nothing. Instead of, this vast world that we can create in our imaginations, there's just nothing. And there was this one line said by the wolf where he was talking about control, and that people who cannot imagine a better world for themselves are easy to control. If you cannot see for yourself a pathway, you want to be led instead, right? And even though I really resonated with the message of the movie, and I felt it was important, especially for children to kind of, experience that as a fractal, I don't necessarily agree. This is where the spiciness comes in. I don't actually agree because technically that movie came out in 1984. My dad was a 14-year-old, and there were arcades and television started becoming a thing. So they had like black and white televisions in their home. But they at least in my mind, still had access to this infinite source of imagination that every single one of us do. And then when I was born, to my father in 1998, excuse me, I basically came into a world where technology was already synonymous. Is that the right word? Right? Everywhere. It was a part of my reality. Instead of getting cable television, I had access to the internet as a child. And even though I had more access to things that were previously imagined, to kind of like keep it to the movie's theme, I don't feel like it did stunt my imagination at all. Right? Like we've had some conversations in these streams that would be impossible if there was no imagination in our beings. And as an extension of that, where this world, Fantasia, that the movie was kind of depicting, existed, at least theoretically, as an extension to human imagination, I believe that's what the internet is, right? This what we're doing right now is a little world we're creating because we imagined it to be possible. I imagined myself going and sitting down and starting a stream. You imagined me sitting down and starting a stream. You imagined what it would be like for you to be in the stream with me. And then you did that, right? And because we're doing that together, this imagined world we used to have in our minds has now become actuality. And the extension of that eventually is going to be the ability to literally build the worlds we have in our imagination in a tangible, like almost touchable way, right? Like imagine the things that you've thought about in art, in the capacity of a place that you would like to be. For instance, what is a weird thing? Watching the Avatar movie. I think it was last. Was it last? No, it wasn't last year. It was earlier this year when I was in Pretoria with the homies. We went and watched this new Avatar movie, and I could feel how in the future there will be the opportunity for people to go and live, at least as an experience, in that world, right? Where they can be one of the Navi, they can be one of these alien creatures and exist in this world and swim with the fishes, as an extension. And yes, that does take away some of your imagination as to the world you have to build in your mind. But at the same time, if you cannot imagine something for yourself, you wouldn't want to do anything, right? There is absolutely going to be AI models that suggest for you to do certain things. But again, if you cannot imagine that world to be possible, you won't find yourself there in the first place. And I'll keep sharing this sentiment that every single one of us are a world in and of ourselves, that we have this capacity to share beautifully the parts of us that are inside. And we have access to everyone in the world right now. And if you can create a world beautiful enough on your inside, and then try and materialize it on the internet. Is it materializing? Digitizes on the internet? You can inevitably create new Fantasias, right? We don't have to have just one Fantasia. We can have 8 billion of them, right? Try and eat us now, nothing. There's 8 billion of us. Team, try. You can try. We're gonna win through human imagination. We cannot be controlled. They've tried, like it is. They're technically winning right now. They're controlling us a little bit. This whole system as it's set up is pretty sticky. It's very sticky. Wanting to stay alive works. Surprise, surprise. Being coerced, but it is bound due for some change, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this world's going to take us, where our imagination is going to take us, because we are collectively imagining. And this is a part of me, like I don't know, like the movie or the series Sandman kind of like went into this fractal beautifully. That if we dream, right, dreaming in my mind is a type of imagination. That if we dream or imagine for ourselves a better world, a world where we have all of the things that we know is necessary for our survival. And it's kind of like eerie, because at the same time I've also been paying attention to like the research when it comes to like these utopia rat experiments, where they basically give rats a utopia, and they give them more than enough food, and they give them more than enough housing, they give them space for copious amounts of rats as a population, and then they study the behavior that starts happening. And it is mildly concerning. But again, I believe the thing that they don't have that we do is imagination. Our ability to create for ourselves worlds on top of the world we've created, right? But if the world we're in is not stable enough for us to basically ensure our survival, I feel that stunts our imagination more than anything, right? If you have to actively, and again, this is like, I believe by design, 100% by design, that if people have to survive, and if you keep kind of like pushing up the inflation, and you make things more and more expensive so that people have to have more money so that they can afford the things that they used to be able to afford, right? It kind of like drives the economy. It makes people want to work harder so that they can earn more money. And then people wanting to work harder and earn more money means that the economy keeps growing. I understand. I do. But that isn't indicative or beneficial to the imaginative space of our being. It does allow us to imagine how to survive, right? It allows us to imagine new novel solutions to problems we've already been facing, see a need, fill a need, as an extension. But again, the need shouldn't be surviving. I believe, at least, the need should be evolution, right? Growing in a way where we actually become a species that we would be proud of looking back on it. Because, like, goodness, if aliens had to watch us, from afar, what would they think? Right? Would they think, yeah, see, these human beings are swell? Or would they think we're a bunch of rats stuck in an experiment right now? You know? And again, whatever you imagine becomes the reality, at least for you, at least in your world, in your imagination realm. So, yeah, point made, fractal shared. How do you friends feel about it? I have some marijuanas with me today. Feel like with the amount of ideas bouncing around in my head, I want to smoke a little bit of Mary Jane just to induce some extra imaginations. Do I see Joe Dispenza? Sending love to Joe Dispenza. I want to have a conversation with that dude as well. I feel like I already have with the amount of stuff I've listened to. It was good, Louisiana. She won the President Academic Achievements Award. I'm so stinking proud of her. Thank you for asking. Thank you for letting us know. Shan, blessings, dear friend. I was coming in this morning with all sorts of love, and now I'm amped up as possibly because I've now had the city come here to harass me about weeds and shit. On the outside, on your yard, are they like, oh, your yard is not good enough. There's weeds growing. Is that what's happening? I mean, I guess that's not bad. At least they're not trying to encroach in your home and see your grow room and stuff like that. Or silver linings? Could be worse. Could be so much worse, but it's not that bad. Imagine how much worse it could be. Oh wow, that sucks. But at least we get to experience this. Sending you lovins, brother bear. I know it sucks. The swamp of sadness. The swamp of sadness messed me up. Oh goodness, Maxine. That horse just slowly sinking. And the kid just like, please, bro, please. I want to save you. All I want to do is save you. You have to move. Oh goodness. Even more fractals. Like just, oh yeah. Like it's almost like I've been saying the exact same thing for years now, basically, right? Please, you have to move. You have to move. You're gonna die. You're gonna die if you don't move. Horse just and it pulls and pulls. Nothing happens. Yeah. I guess my brain straight up just deleted that scene because of how devastating it was to watch it. And I did love the turtle. The turtle is totally joy vive. It starts every sentence with not like it matters, but I don't even care whether I care or not. It was pretty savage. I loved it. It really was a beautiful movie. So many fractals. So many fractals. So relatable. That dragon, though. That dragon. I don't know how I feel about the dragon. Like, I would totally want a luck dragon, but that luck dragon gave me, like, TV producer vibes. I'm sorry. I don't mean to ruin the fractal, but I was like, bro, this dragon is totally a TV producer. Analogy for the TV producer. I was tripping out about that as well. No, the swamp of sadness and the terrible werewolf. So scary to me as a kid. The wolf to me was more a symptom than anything, right? While I was watching it and seeing this wolf, I saw a deep sadness in the wolf as well. It was playing its role. It did what was expected of it, but I don't know if it really enjoyed what it was expected to be, right? It was also weak, tired. It was like, just think about that as the fractal, right? That even these entities that are like fighting to maintain control over humanity, even they are tired, right? So tired. They don't want to live that way, but they think they're supposed to. They think if they lose this power they've been holding on to their entire lives, they'll lose themselves. because they have become identified with this power they think they have. None of us are in control. An asteroid the size of the moon could slam into the earth right now, and we would be doing nothing but watch, right? Just be like, oh, how did we not see that earlier? Guess we die, right? Unfortunately, that would be the state of being. We do not have the technology to escape our planet just yet. We're not in control. The thing we can control is whether or not we are loving, right? Whether or not we actually get to experience love of the people we spend time with. No, the swamp of sadness. Oh, I can feel the vibes rising with all of you friends as we meet in this space. It's true, right? It's like there's a level of imagination. Like as I'm talking through all of these things, I stimulate your friends' imaginations. And I did this in yoga today. I can say something like, let's imagine a flower blooming. All right. Something as simple as that. Even though the words that came out of my mouth and got translated into the internet and then reached your side of the world was the exact same words for each and every single one of you, the flower that ended up blooming inside your mind was unique, divinely different from each other person's flower. You know, the surroundings of the flower, the stem of the flower, the leaves that accompanied the flower, the actual flower, the color of the flower, you know, whether or not there's bees around the flower, whether or not there's butterflies. Every single one of us have this whole like deep, intricate world of imagination. And you friends giving me the opportunity to kind of access that energy is truly an honor. I love you. Imagine yourself becoming super, you know, just like having the brightest smile in the world. You just smile at people and you cure their blindness. Or if they're not blind, you make them blind. I'm sorry. I was just imagining this smile so bright. City is in favor of bulldozing and concreting, but not actually ensuring our survival. How unimaginative, cities. How unimaginative. Does your native pollinator garden have anything flowering at the moment? Or is it a patch of greenery at the moment? Curious. The Pippi Dragon. You like the Pippi Dragon? He's the best. I didn't mind the Pippi Dragon, right? He was technically a helper in the whole experience. Maybe he was just high, like blazed out of his mind or something. I wouldn't be surprised if that Luck Dragon was just super doped up. Talking about, I'm going to get myself a blanket first because it's kind of cold. It's like the rock biter. I really like the rock biter as well. I feel like there's so many fractals happening at the same time in chat right now, and I can only access a few of them. I'm back in a second. Oh no, I just stepped in poop. Did I? Yeah, I definitely did. Oh man, it sucks. Oh no. Oh no, no. When are you gonna be like this? Puppy planting landmines. Oop de dop dop doop dop oop a dop a dee dop oop ah. There we go. I got ponchoed. Ooh, there's quailfuls in the background. I don't know if you can see them. I hope so. Hello, quailful. I like your mohawk, dude. It's a sick mohawk you got. Can you see them? No, you can't. Move the camera up a little bit. There he is. It's a quailful. It's a quailful. Quang! He totally just looked at me. Quang! So confused. Quang! Yeah, I know what sound you make. I know you. The amount of awareness in that little being. There he is. Look, look. Quack! Quack! He's like, what? What are you doing, dude? Okay. Let's switch back. Ah. Family is coming back as well. Let me see what you friends had to say. Lurking from my driver's seat. Love you, friends. Love you, Joe. Infinitely. Thank you for tuning in with us, even as you're driving. Do stay safe. Don't look at my face. Kelly joining us as well. Not a never-ending story. Who did that to him? I loved it. I loved all of it. I don't think there was anything disturbing or upsetting in the movie for me, at least personally. I really did like pretty much all of it. I felt like it was a trippy experience to kind of expose myself to, kind of like fever dreamish, but not bad. You know, that's kind of like just how things look inside my mind. I felt very seen. In fact, I was like, oh, this feels not right. Yeah, normal. Listen to yesterday's stream as I was doing my stuffs after the graduation. Maxine, you friends melt me. I missed you guys so much. We missed you too, Shan. It's so nice having you here with us. Like Maxine was the first one to be like, "Hey, where's Shan?" And it was like, "Yeah, sending you blessings." Ubiquitous. Thank you, Shell. Ubiquitous everywhere. Hey Google, define ubiquitous. Iniquitous? Grossly unfair. No. Hey Google, define ubiquitous. We're gonna have to up the volume. Ubiquitous. Present, appearing, or found everywhere. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Shell. Attaching it to my brain. Come on, vocabularies. Stay. We don't need to talk about it. I'm just so fucking spicy right now. Spice up, dude. Spice up. Again, right? Try to imagine how it could have been worse and then celebrate how it isn't that bad. Duck Dad is like, bro, I'm too angry for your airy fairy bullshit right now. Hey, try a story yet. It's been so long, dear friend. We've missed you. It's nice having you here. I'm gonna smoke this marijuanas with imagination in mind. Imagine a world where love is true, where people are taken care of, where the food that there is already enough of is evenly distributed, where the housing we've already built is being given, where ego has melted away to the point where we know we are a unity. Imagine a world where healthcare is distributed evenly. Imagine a world where we have more than enough energy. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Oh, man. Whew. Let's settle in. Imagine beauty. So much more beauty. A Redditor had this issue a while ago, and I remedied it by pulling a plant out and creating organized rows, placing a few walkway stones, adding white fencing. That's actually not a bad idea. I like that. Sending love to Kristen. Don't need to talk about it. Love is true. How's recovery going? You mentioned bed yoga. Is that happening? I do hope so. Thank you for asking, Sam. I've been wondering more than anything as well. How our beloved Louisiana's recovery is going. How are you feeling, Maxine? Sam, great idea, but that's compliance. I'm done complying. I'm moving to malicious compliance on my way into the attic to get my large rainbow flag for my greenhouse. It's like, oh yeah? Well, this is so funny. I was talking about imagining a new life yesterday afternoon with someone. More synchronicity, right? The amount of serendipitous moments we find in these spaces, right? Like, I couldn't imagine. Even if I was really good at imagining, I couldn't imagine that we would connect on so many different levels, day after day after day. I can only imagine the rats do have imaginations. They do, don't they? I don't know, Shell. They do dream. They do dream, but maybe they have imagination, but maybe it's limited in capacity, right? For instance, I believe the part of us that can be imaginative is also the part of us that makes tools. And rats can use tools, right? For instance, if there's like a rat trapped in a cage and they have to use a stick to try and free that rat, give it enough trial and error, eventually they'll figure out how to use that stick to open the cage. That being said, if they don't have a stick, they're not gonna try and find one or fashion one out of the material they have around them in order to free their fellow rat individual. Unfortunately, not, right? Like, they do not have that level of imaginative capacity. And I believe as a result of that, the dystopian happenings that happen in the rat utopias are possible. As a result of that, it gives them the opportunity to be less than themselves. All right, it's like they're more impressionable. Maybe that's what I should say. And we are very much impressionable as well. We can also very much be influenced by the world at large. But I believe we have a little bit more juice when it comes to how free we allow ourselves to be, how how much more we could imagine for ourselves, right? Because even though I grew up in a household that expected me to be one way, right, was trying to condition me into being one way, and there was very clear consequences to me not being that way, right? I wouldn't be accepted. I wouldn't be allowed to do the same things. Thinking about Jovan right now, how she wasn't allowed to participate in some of the activities if she wasn't Catholic, right? Kind of vibe. And all that is showing to me is that even if there are these societal consequences to not believing the same thing that everybody else has imagined, that we can still choose to imagine something new for ourselves. And I feel that's where our power as human beings really lie. That's going to be the power that saves us, inevitably. That is a really good after school video featuring Joe Dispenza about living in survival versus living in creation. I've seen that one as well. It's really good. That wasn't the whole experiment. I hate that experiment because we are not rats, people. Agreed. Agreed. I completely agreed, right? And that's my perspective as well, Zano, is that you cannot draw the same conclusions. And they've tried to. That's the joke, right? They have actually tried to, like with empirical studies, try to draw the same conclusions from human behavior that they saw displayed in those rat utopia experiments. And they have found no conclusive evidence, right? So not only aren't we behaving in that way, but we're actually behaving in counterintuitive ways if we were using those experiments. And again, overpopulation is not going to be a problem. Our cities might become highly populated, but we are not overpopulated on our planet. And technically, the experiment was touching on fractals like that as well, where even though there was more than enough room sporadically spread out into the rest of the space, the creatures, the rats, still would gather in certain places, right? And he would draw this analogy to it being like cities. Still, people can imagine, right? Oh, what would it be like for me to not live in the city anymore? And if they imagine hard enough and they like their imagination enough, they can actually realize that, right? They can go out of their comfort zone and move. And I feel maybe a rat could do that, but clearly human beings are more equipped to. Glad you're home. I've been thinking of you and sending healing vibes. Thank you, Kelly. In large groups, though, it's kind of hard to tell the difference, Zano. I would love to attend Joe Dispenza's meditation retreat. It could help. Have you been meditating by yourself? I would like to ask first, right? Like the way I think of it is if you're gonna go to a retreat or some sort of experience, hey Lane, it's nice seeing your name. You have to have started with yourself, right? Like you have to have actually done the work. Spend 1,000 hours just meditating numero uno alone, and then consider actually paying someone else to meditate with you. Otherwise, you're not going to get the full benefits of a guided experience like that. I believe, at least. You'll still gain a good experience. That will be, true regardless. But it's like a progress thing, right? Nobody is good at something when they start doing it at first. You have to keep doing it over and over, day after day, for years before it actually, starts being something you're good at. And then going to a type of retreat, being good at that thing, it's only going to be better for you. So proud of Amara. Love is true. There is an infinite complexity of intent with humans compared to rodents. They also would significantly change the variable of the experiment. Completely agreed. What do you think of the turtle? I thought it was Joy Vive. Still, I was like, yeah, this turtle is totally Joy. Well, Mel, they are finding me. So, taking from me. Are they finding you? Okay. Now I'm on board with getting a little bit more triggered. How much are they finding you? Right. Now it's like a matter of like how much is the damage? How angry should I be? Are they finding me $100? Okay, I'm angry, but I'm not like losing my mind angry. They're finding me $1,000. Now I'm fucking livid. Yassi, whose door am I kicking down? Who do I have to scream at? Maji. Let me see. Thank you, Joe. Me too. It's crazy to think at this point. I was told she would never talk, and now she's doing all the things. Love is true. Shanna, that is so far out. You must be proud of her. Artax. Easily the most dramatic televisionary moment of my youth. Yeah. They were like suggesting it. They were like, oh look, the horse is sinking. And your little brain self is like, what's happening right now? What's happening? And then you just watch the horse slowly sink. And you are also screaming at the horse to move. And the character is screaming at the horse to move. And the boy reading the book probably is also screaming at the horse to move. And you're just like, this horse ain't moving, Like, and there's a part of you that's hopeful. That's like, okay, the horse is gonna it's gonna start moving now. He's gonna be like, oh, I've come around and I'm gonna move my body. Nope. You just see bubbles. You see the skid sitting next to the freaking bubbles. I thought he was gonna get consumed by sadness as well, but he transpired, moved on. I hardcore repressed the swamp of sorrow scene. I was like straight up like thinking about the whole movie. It wasn't even registering in my brain while I was rendering the experience I had. No, Pepe, Nia, it's Mama. She's barking at my mom being in the house right now. It's like, who's in the house? Who's in the house, Pepe? Who's in the house? Oh, it's Mom. Surprise, surprise. So silly. I feel like the year it was released, the film was way ahead of its time. Oh yeah. Like even now, I feel the film is still ahead of its time in 2023. Brutal, mate. Just grit your teeth and hustle so that you can get off the grid or at least out of the city limits. Now that sounds like a good idea to me. I adore the ending where she rides Falcor and chases the bullies into the trash. I was like kind of confused about that part still, right? Like they were really crossing some boundaries in my mind as to what should be possible, right? Because there was like this whole theme of belief in the self as well. That if you don't believe you are the one, right, that is here to help this world, you will not take on that role and the world won't be saved, right? That's like the like there was so many fractals that they touched on that we've been sharing in this stream. I was like kind of like in a surreal space watching it. And then there was just his sister being the queen. Was it the sister? No, it was the queen. Where did I get this sister from? Like I think my brain just crossed the wires of a troll in Central Park in that movie for a second there. Like I just had like a brain wobble where it was like, wait a second, what? What? I adore the ending. Yeah, I had no idea that there were concerns like that. That's amazing. Yeah, when she was younger, stronger, nonetheless. I would like to believe that all of the frequencies our beloved Shan has been inducing, her voice, healing. Wow, Shan. All the experiment taught me is that animal abuse is so real when it comes to that type of science. I feel like it's just fear mongering when you don't consider the full scope. It's just incomplete. It's incomplete, one, and there is technically, even though there is space, no freedom, right? And again, freedom, technically, at least in my mind, is something that arises within the individual. That you can be free, even in a prison cell, if you know how to use your mind well. And I don't think rats do know how to use their minds in that capacity, right? And a lot of people don't either. It's hard. It's very hard. My meditations these days have been harder, weirdly enough, for that reason as well, where it's like my mind is almost trying to escape into more of a delta wave state instead of being present, right? I was supposed to answer 5 questions today, and only one of them actually registered in my attention. I won't say my consciousness, but my attention. And that question is, where do you come from? Or where were you before you were here? And the answer that came up in my mind is Marcus Aurelius. Yeah, the Empress. That's who I was thinking of, Maxine. Right. And I could be just, confusing myself or eluding myself, but Marcus Aurelius as a fractal, as an archetype almost in my mind, is one of the people that I feel I have a great amount of admiration towards. Not because of the decisions he had to make necessarily, but because of the way he made his decisions and because of his honesty with himself and his state of being. Like the fact that this dude was one of the most powerful people in the world and still had a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, you know? That he also had that experience of, nah, this is comfy. My bed is so comfy. I don't want to get out of bed right now. No, this is comfy. I want to keep laying down. And then he goes, hey, oh, what are you made for? Are you made to just lay in your bed? Is that what you're here for? No, no, you're here for more. Yes, laying in the bed is nice. Yes, agreed completely. But we reach a level of saturation, right? Where it's like, oh, wait, I've had the laying in bed experience. How about I have the changing the world experience for the better? Actually, making a positive impact on the lives of those around me. Let's hoist some lighting. I don't know if that's better. Maybe a little bit more full. Melt on the topic of imagination. Yesterday, I discovered a South African musician, the Kifnis, cool dude, right? Who takes found sounds and writes songs around them. He's amazing. He really is creative. Does like, cat sounds, for example, like viral cat sounds, and then makes like whole tracks out of it. You guys, there's a new season of Love, Death, and Robots out right now. Really? I thought Black Mirror was going to be the next trippy thing coming out. I really like Love, Death, and Robots. Like, I like it for the same reason uh, I like anything potentially dystopian, right? Not because I imagine that should be the way, but because it gives my imagination contrast to work against, right? Where I'm like, oh, living in that reality, it looks like it would suck ass. Let me imagine a better one for myself, you know, and then we actively steer our consciousness closer and closer to the better state of reality. Thank you for letting me know, Maxine. I'm so excited now as well. Kelly, the thing is, I don't want to leave right now. If I leave, they win. I worked so hard to get this modest home, and I don't care where the postage stamp of Earth lies within. It's mine. Yeah. Control, dude. Control. That's what they want, though, right? And that's what you're fighting. It's not, you don't care about the pettiness of the situation, right? You don't care about the weeds. You care about the control they're trying to practice over you and your being. Oh, yes, Joe. She started getting at home therapy right after she turned 1. I'd have someone coming to work with her pretty much every day, physically and physical and occupational therapy, speech, special ed. It was a lot, and I believe it helped, right? She's articulate, she can participate in the world. Neurodiversity is not a curse, it's not something that needs to be cured. It's something that needs to be, in my mind, liberated, right? We should allow these little beings to become who they're meant to be so that they can help us in the way they were meant to. The song he wrote with a cat called Sometimes I'm Alone. It's all beautiful. Like he really has like some interesting music. And you know, he makes it fun for you to watch along as well. Sorry, I'm spicy about the rats. You don't have to apologize, Ano. It's a spicy topic, right? Spiciness is an appropriate reaction, I believe at least. But I'm locked out of work when they told me to come early. Oh goodness. Mm. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. I'm very diligent. I'm very diligent as a person, you know. And if I tell you I'll be there at 5 p.m., I'm usually there 5 to 5 p.m., right? Like if you're on time, you're late, and if you're early, you're on time. That's kind of like the philosophy I live by as well. Because I value other people's time, I know that they're me, they're divinity, and no divinity likes having their time wasted, right? So I can just be mindful and make sure that I'm there on time. And then you get called in early, you go into work early and on time, and then the doors are locked because the people who told you to be early and on time isn't early and on time. Woo! Woo! You know, my ego would be losing its shit, throwing it at the walls, sees person walking up, starts planning how I'm gonna throw it at them. I'm so angry. Love you, Sano. Blessings. Get it all out, you know, before you have to talk to the people you have to be surrounded by. Rock biter. They look big, good. They look like big, good, strong hands, don't they? I always thought that's what they were. Size. My little friends. The little man of the racing snail. The night hob. Even the stupid bat. I couldn't hold on to them. The nothing pulled them right out of my hands. I failed. Yeah, that one was pretty brutal. That was really, I was like, bro. I again, also, my mind didn't want to remember that scene. Thank you for reminding me, Joy. Losing. Losing. All right. Experiencing loss is probably the thing we're going to struggle with the most because no matter how strong your hands are, you can't hold on to people melting into nothing, dying. You can hold on to the memory of them. And he technically was, right? But your hands, no matter how strong they are, cannot hold on to that which we are. right? Divinity, the infinity, encapsulated within each and every single person. She's overcome it all right now. She will only have counseling, I think. Sounds good to me. I'm so happy you focus on our mental health, Shan. So many parents don't teach their kids that it should be normalized and a priority. So many parents, only do it as a last resort with our little beings. Like I got sent to therapy, but only when I was suicidal and already didn't care about anything, right? So I would talk to these therapists and I'd be like, oh yeah, you want to help me, do you? Would you be helping me if my mom didn't pay you like 500 rand an hour or something? Right? And I was like, that was what I was stuck on. I was like, bruh, if you give me the cash you give this therapist, I'd probably be happier. That's basically how I was thinking as a kid, feeling that this person wouldn't want to help me if they weren't being paid to. So what's the point even, right? Like they don't care if I die or not. They care whether or not my mom has money and is willing to give it to them, and they will, do this with me in the exchange. And I was like, bro, I just cannot. You don't want to help me. Oh, that was my whole reaction. So kind of like teaching kids that it's okay to get help. That help is something that should be expected of the world, not something that should be purchased, even though there might still be that expectation. I feel is a good thing to teach our kids. Oh no, I stepped in poop. I did. Fortunately, there was grass still underneath my feet, so I could get it off of me. It was on the underneath of the sandal as well. The rock biter made me cry when I was a kid. I love the racing snail. Was an actual racing snail. That was like part of the show that shocked me as well. I was like, wait, racing snails? Oh no, Zano, make sure to change them. Charge them for this time that you're waiting. This probably is gonna be some sort of lackluster excuse of like, oh yeah, sorry about that. Now be okay because we said sorry. Shut up and accept that we've said sorry, and that's all that's going to happen. Beer. Oh, Duck Dad, I had totally just reassessed that statement and realized the defeatist nature of my advice. I understand completely. Unless you gotta run for office and change the game. Now we're talking. Yeah, yeah, Kelly. Why not, Duck Dad? Duck Dad for office 2024, dude. You know, you want to see things changed? Vote locally, run locally. You're not any less special than these people who are empowered, your friends, right? Like we do know this about ourselves. Every single one of us have exactly the same thing ourselves, right? And it's just a matter of, can you imagine yourself doing such a thing, right? Can you imagine a world begotten better because of your effort? Sorry about that. There we go. I totally agree, Maxine. It made it very clear to the school that I want her to continue with counseling. The counselor at the elementary school has been wonderful. I'm hoping for the same for middle school. I hope so as well. Right, there are, fortunately, good people. We just have to, again, imagine that that is actually possible instead of finding ourselves stuck in believing that everybody is just out to make more monies. And more monies. And then more. And then more is again. Right, and I'm not any better. That's the joke, right? I guess it's just a matter of what we expect to be paid for. Reflecting, looking in the mirror. Okay. Balance is the question or the answer coming up in my mind. It's like, it's okay. Yeah, money. Okay, fine. But also balance, right? That this is good to have balance in what you believe should be financially awarded as well. Right? Thinking about the conversation yesterday between Duck Dad and his wage when it comes to this work that he's doing, that there is a certain level of balance in that as well, where he came to the conclusion that there might be later propositions, that because he's willing to practice balance, more balance will be brought into his life later in life because of that balance. The process continues. Hey again, Dry. It's nice having you. I didn't have that, and I want Amara to do better than I did. She deserves it. Yo, can we just take a moment to listen to how beautiful that is? Right? That a mother wants their child to have it better than them, to have more access, to have more opportunities. Parents trying to keep their kids stuck because there's some sort of level of insecurity about them having it better, right? The fact that parents can complain that, yeah, you have it so easy. I used to suffer as a child. It's like, oh, thanks, Dad. Isn't this what you worked for? Right? So you can have a kid and then let them not suffer the way you did. Why are you telling me this? Right? That Alan Watts lecture where he talks about this guilt that gets induced, gets projected onto us as children, that our parents tell us in one way or another how much they had to sacrifice their bodies, their money, their time, their etc., so that we can be in the world, and we should feel guilty about that, right? Oh, you exist? Yeah, you should feel guilty about that. Oh, how dare you? How dare you eat food and drink water and breathe air? And yet, a lot of us find ourselves in that state of being where we can unironically feel guilty for simply existing. And that is a great, great tragedy. Let's imagine a world where we don't guilt people for existing. Yeah, gang, gang. Growing pains of change has been crazy, overwhelming lately. You want to tell us about it? You always talk in such vague terms, Dry, and I respect that, right? But I'm going to ask anyway. You can share with us if you want to. Yes, Sam, I'm doing bed yoga, chair yoga, walker yoga, and crutch yoga. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, Louisiana, for moving. All right, for not letting yourself be eaten by the nothing. Oh my goodness, I didn't know there was bed yoga. Yeah, of course there's bed yoga. You can do yoga anywhere. Yoga just means to unite with yourself, all right? And you can unite with like your foot and then lift it up while you're in the bed and then slowly lower that foot and then lift your other foot. And then you can do that mindfully with your breath. Boom, bed yoga. Boom. Skabam. Skabout. Dry walnut essence is the remedy of adapting or protection to change. There we go. Yeah. Dry, consider reaching out to Shan. She does these flower remedies. They can sound pretty woo-woo, but they work. I'm on bottle number 3 at this point. Diamond Dallas Page is who I usually recommend for bed yoga. He's a little grating, but he knows his stuff. Grating? Hey Google, define grating. Grating, sounding harsh and unpleasant. Oh goodness, what do people say when they talk about me? Am I grating, Sam? Sam is like, no, Sam, stop it. Joy, new internship. My mom's ex moves back in even after her protective order now, and I have to get out of the big reality punch that was full of tears. I just don't know how. Don't know when I can get out. Joy, my new internship with mom's ex. My new internship. Okay, period. My mom's ex moved back in, even after a protective order. And now I have to get out. So that's a big reality punch that has been full of tears. And I don't know when I can get out. Let's imagine. First thing I saw is a closed flower. It has like white tulips kind of like closing up against itself. And then it has these green leaves. So imagining you flowering in a new environment, dry historian. What does that look like? Who are you surrounded by? How do you feel? Right? And then really imagining, spending time, spending the next day even, just imagining for yourself where you want to find yourself, who you're surrounded by, and how does it feel? And then you breathe. Because if you can see it in your mind, and I do believe that's a Joe Dispenza quote, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. Right? I see a new space for you coming up soon, dear friend. Love is true. I wonder where they fall on the intelligence scale, Melty. I've read that pigs have an IQ of a 4-year-old and ravens at a 7-year-old. I wouldn't be surprised. Ravens can use tools better than rats, you know, like it's very interesting how they understand water displacement and stuff like that. Sam, my husband told me about Diamond Dallas Page, and he says the same thing. Also about the grating thing. How about that? Or just the good for bed yoga. Again, Lane, it's nice having you. Jenna, you seem like such a cool and caring mom. She really is. Kristen, sending love ends. Nancy, sending love ends. It's just, just want the best for my girl. It's true. Joy, me and my best friend at the point of growth too. And so I don't have my biggest support right now. Have you reached out to our friends in the Discord, Dry Historian? Right? You might not have your best friends to support in your physical world, but you have friends that we will be willing to sit with you and support you in the digital realm at least as well. Well, then crows definitely have imaginations, right? Because they find tools of their own to create tools. So will monkeys. Agreed. Agreed. I think it's like a stepping ladder. Right? That intelligence is a spectrum again, you know, and we are probably on the low end of the spectrum, to be completely honest. Again, alien species would probably be mildly embarrassed for us. Be like, they consider themselves intelligent. They can be wise. This is true. They can be wise. They can be articulate. They can be quite elegant. But intelligent? They do some stupid things. Why are they killing their own people? Don't they know that having more people means more good, more better? Yeah, they think they're killing someone else. Oh, but they all live on the same planet. Yeah, yeah, they do. That's why they think they're killing someone else, because they want more for themselves. It's like, but they're gonna die as well. And then everything they've collected for themselves is going to be naught, null and void. They're gonna leave it behind. Yeah. And then it's gonna go to the people that come afterwards, which is still themselves. But because of their power trips, they end up robbing from themselves the thing they wanted in the first place: freedom. And they're pretty stupid. Yeah, they can be. They're trying. They're trying right now. Why am I dialoguing for aliens? Plus, stop it. Stop dialoguing through my brain, please. When the crows, obviously they do again. I'm great at meditating, good, especially when I know that people around me are all striving for the same healing effect. I would throw myself completely into the retreat. Do they do 4 types? They do 4 different types of meditation. I think that would be good then, Maxine. Now it's just again a matter of financing, I guess, right? You have yourself and always will dry again. Agreed. Your imagination. Because unfortunately, our seen world can be very convincing, right? Very, very convincing. And as we imagine for ourselves a better world, that is what we will inevitably be getting. I feel the sun is like close to setting, and I do kind of want some of that red light. So I'm gonna move my sun shield. Sun shield sounds cooler than cushion on a chair. Oh, yes, my sun shield. Thank you, dear sun shield, for shielding the sun from me. Ski bop. Doop doop doop. Also, that was dry again. Thank you for the love as well, Shell. You have yourself, right? And that self that you are has the ability to imagine a world better than the one you're experiencing right now. And as you continue to, day by day, moment by moment, that world only gets closer. If you imagine yourself to be suffering and that your state of being is going to continue being suffering, then that state of reality will only feel closer and closer. Because now, not only are you experiencing suffering in your outside realm, in the physical, in the bodily, or in what you're seeing and hearing, but now you're internalizing that suffering inside yourself. This sucks. This fucking sucks. Nobody wants to be there, right? Imagine somewhere else. Imagine somewhere else, right? Somewhere better for your mind and for your state of being. It is possible, and you can have it. Retreats are great. I've done a few of them. Weirdly enough, I've also been considering one, but I don't know if they'll allow me to continue doing my work. I'll do it in silence, but I think they might have a problem with me wanting to. I'm gonna see if I can get someone to get on board with the fractal, but if not, I'm not gonna go to a retreat anytime soon, I guess, unless one of them are willing to accept. Again, the ego wanting to. I'm imagining a world where there's acceptance. Yeah, 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 that's better. I tried to soothe myself, but little baby me was like, I miss him though, and I had to be like, I know it's gonna be okay. I got you, I promise. Love is true. Thank you for reminding yourself as well, Dry. Dry. I broke up with my best friend 3 years ago, and it is a unique ache. My sympathies, friend. Thank you, Sam, for resonating with our friend. Yeah. I feel I went through that experience last year, feeling like I broke up with a best friend. And that connection was remade again, right? The relationship isn't the same as it was, but there is still value in connecting with one another nonetheless. Again, right? Our friendships ultimately, and our relationships, if it's romantically, should be this deep appreciation for the other and wanting to celebrate and see them succeed. 1111. Let it be so. Receive. Wanting to see each other succeed, right? 47% of my battery, 11 minutes past. Okay, 53 on that one. So only the 74 synchronicity. Shan, your mom energy is getting everywhere today. All warm over here. So loving, right? So beautiful. I know, get over him. But talking to him sucks. Yeah, that's even worse. There's like little fruit flies flying around my face. Can you see them? Maybe if I smoke marijuanas, they'll be like, whoa. Maybe they'll get so stoned they'll become walks instead of flies. Like, I'm sorry. I know that's a bad joke, but it's still funny to me. I still like that joke. I'm gonna tell that joke to my kids one day. It's like, ah, yes, you know when you qualify fat wings. No, stop. I can even feel them cringing. It's like, bro, why are you like this, Dad? Imagining myself having kids one day and actually wanting them to appreciate and experience the world. During the yoga today as well, I had this moment of imagining the fact that there are beings being born right now, that there will be beings born in the future, and hoping that those beings being born actually get to live in a world that is going to facilitate growth, beauty, an experience of safety, not damnation. Love you. Yeah, that's definitely weed, yo. Very familiar. Okay. I'm sorry you're going through this dry. I'm happy that you are with us, though. You're not alone, friend. Sending you so much love. Yes, right. Again, something I couldn't even imagine what this space would eventually become. Our ability to offer support, even if it's digital in nature. That I'm sitting in your room right now, in your space, coming through a cell phone screen, a TV, potentially a VR goggle in the future, right? Like there's gonna potentially be the ability to take these streams, right? I'll scan my body into some sort of system, and it will analyze all of the streams as a collective, and then it'll be able to render this space with me in it, and then you can put on a pair of goggles and then just sit here next to me, right? Could reach out and touch my face, keep talking, but I'm like, the fuck you doing? There was this one Gumball episode where they were on the internet, and then there was this ad, and then they could like click on the person who the ad was kind of like running around. And it would like be able to pull his ear and like poke his face and like push him on his chin. And like by the end of it, when you skip the video, he's like, okay, fine, 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 it's enough. You can skip the video already. Please stop. Please. And I really love that. I imagine I would want that if there is any ads in the future, hopefully not, but I would want the ads to be exactly like that, interactive, and gives you the ability to spit on them, metaphorically speaking. Really communicate your visceral anger. That's Ryan. Dry, I see you're going through a tough time. I also just want to send you some energy for the day. Everything is as it should be. Thank you, Lane, for echoing that. It sometimes comes over as insensitive when I kind of communicate the same sentiment that even these experiences that absolutely suck are also supposed to be that way. And I feel I wouldn't be willing to say that if I didn't experience what I experienced in China. Right? Like I didn't know levels of suckitude that high was possible. Living with 4 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. Living with people that smoke inside. Living alone completely and hating that as well. Meditating on the top of a rooftop to give myself the opportunity to not every single day. And then being proud of myself by the time I get back into my solitude that I'm still continuing. And then we got to come back, you know. And again, the biggest lesson that I learned is that no matter what I do, no matter how much money I make, no matter where I am, the only thing that seems to actually take care of my soul is the experience of togetherness, connection with other human beings. And I was like struggling when I just came back because I spent like 3 months doing absolutely nothing. I like how, in my mind, that is like an extreme amount of time, right? Oh, I spent 3 months because I started working directly out of high school. And then after working a job for like a year, I moved to China. And I technically worked before I finished high school as well. My dad took me out of school for like 6 months because I failed my 11th year because I got a girlfriend, and I could care even less. All right. I was not caring at all, but then I could care even less. And I was like, huh, new levels of not caring reached. Sicketh. Didn't care. Dad took me out of school, went to work at a fabrication company. We did light steel frames, like these, like imagine flat sheets of steel that was going into this intricate machine, bending it in on itself, creating structure. And then we would build structures out of those little tubular structures. Learn how to weld, learn how to create like bases where those flimsy-ish things would go into, so they have like solid support systems. Learn how to use the CNC machines to cut those things, so we can assemble them. I learned a lot. I enjoyed the ability to realize things, but it was too much. Then I worked in sales. And again, I worked in sales because I was brain damaging myself with Grant Cardone. And I'm saying brain damage because it's still valuable as much as anything else is, but it definitely created a certain anxiety inside of me, Grant Cardone's 10x, where he's like, the dreams you have for yourself, 10x them, right? And I agree in part, but it was very much this financial world, and he recommended that if you want to make copious amounts of money, you were supposed to be in sales. So it was like, okay, I'll sell technology. Everybody likes technology. And then I realized what that means is that even though, yes, everybody likes technology, people still want you to convince them to buy it, right? Like, and that's the brutal part, because then it becomes a dance. And unfortunately, in this fractal we're participating in, people see what they want to see on the one side, and on the other side, people want to see what they want to see, right? Like, that's also the other side of it. Like, people have this incentive to like you, or at least you have to give them an incentive to like you. And then that caused behavior in me that didn't feel genuine. And then the structure changed, right? And then I was suffering. Oh, as company poverty, less money. So I complained to a friend, technically, at that point in China about this job. Got me a job in China. Got paid 4 times as much for doing like 80% less work, right? So two of the vectors I believed was causing me suffering. Oh, I work so long and I earn so little money, right? Because I was working up to 10-hour days, earning $350 a month. I'm serious. I'm serious. Like, I mean, that's in South Africa, that's basically what you should expect. But that is still, technically it's now less because of the exchange rate, but it's like $300 technically. No, it's like $285 with the current exchange rate. At that point, it was like $350. And I was like, bro, no. I could earn commissions, but then that went away with the new restructure of the company. So then went to China, basically instantly upgraded to earning at least $1,000 a month, I believe, right? And my apartment was paid for, and my electricity and water was paid for. So all I had to do was buy food, which means effectively I had technically even more than 4 times as much money. And then I got trapped in the consumption cycle, right? Where I could lean into the convenience of having food ordered to my door. I could buy things, and the Chinese economy and their immediacy, the instant gratification button, is pretty good. It works, right? If you order something, you could expect it either tomorrow or at latest the day after that. And that feels good to your monkey mind. It's like, wait a second. I can see something on a screen and then have it in my hands the next day. Yes, please. Bought things. So many of the things I ended up buying stayed in China. Surprise, surprise. Almost like they weren't valuable enough to bring with me. They didn't add any more to my life, any more happiness. And then came back, And for the first time in my life, I spent 3 months aimlessly wandering, doing nothing. Playing games, playing Dota, watching series, smoking weed. Adam came over to my place during that time as well. So we kind of like leaned into each other's willingness to do nothing. he was into the whole chess fractal at that point as well. So he was watching people play chess for hours in the day, and I couldn't understand that. I was like, why would you have watched chess games for like 4 hours straight now? Right, I was like paying attention to all these nodes, and then I at the last day of the year 2020, I sat underneath the garage area, staring out to this side, and I was asking myself, what am I going to do? I was imagining what am I going to do at that point. Hello, Eva. At that point, we already did some streams on RPAN, so there was this vector open in me. And then I articulated to myself, that's what's happening. Starting next year, I will stream every day. Can you imagine that, Eva? It's been 897 days now. I don't know if that version of me could have imagined where we would find ourselves. But that's the point. That version of me didn't have to. That version of me had to imagine the very simple, broken down steps of show up every day. Like breathing, like waking up, like taking a shower. Welcome from Qatar. Like Kate Vlogs. Love you, friend. Thank you for joining us, for sending us love from your space of the world, sending you love too. This is South Africa. Thank you for joining me. I am a person. It's nice to meet you, fellow person. Blessings to you. How did you find us, friend? Did you find us on the YouTube algorithm? Did you find us on LiveSpace? Did you find us on RPAN back in the day? I'm curious because I'm wondering. I wonder if there's any reach. Like Gary Lee actually recommended to me that I should create a folder with all of these streams so that they are actually accessible, to people kind of finding the page later. Oh man. Let me see. I think I've missed a few comments. So much love is being sent. Thank you again, friends. The Empress, exactly. Zano owned the single most ever read book, copy of The Rats of Nymph. It's Shell Jr.'s favorite book for many, many years. That's so nice. So much love is being sent. Oh man, Mel, you're so right. It is Black Mirror. I woke up super early and didn't get a full 8 hours of rest. My apologies. No problem whatsoever. It's like in the same fractal. Love, Death, and Robots and Black Mirror are very much, they live in the same world. But I knew that Love, Death, and Robots came out of a new season like 3 or 4 months ago. So I was like, Yossi, I'm surprised that you could crack out so many. Like they have each of their episodes made by individual studios, but I really like the Black Mirror episodes. Like the Black Mirror episodes, again, same reason. Pretty dystopian, kind of scary to watch. But again, if we're not willing to imagine or look into the imagination of a worst case scenario, it will be a little bit harder for us to imagine the best. And it's also easier, surprise, surprise, to imagine the worst case scenario. It's very easy to imagine a dystopian world, right? Like the way to think of it is in your mind, you have this ability to take these slices of reality, right? And for every, and this is a approximation, that science gives, for every 10 slices you take, 9 of those slices will be negative prompting. 1 of those slices will be positive prompting. In other words, if I live in the jungle as a prehistoric human and I take 9 slices for a potential negative, a potential threat in my environment, and then 1 slice to appreciate it, to be grateful for it, that would ensure that I survive more than not, right? Where if I hear a rustle in the leaves and instead of taking a negative slice and being like, that's a threat, run away, I take it as, oh, isn't that beautiful? I could get pounced and eaten by something, right? And in the same capacity, we have to almost kind of like look at the worst case scenario over and over again. Getting better at seeing the good, imagining the good, and then taking steps towards it. Getting the 8 hours of sleep. Yeah, again, it's harder to imagine the good than it is to imagine the bad. Because again, the bad is so present. We keep looking into it over and over again. It can be us even. Shelly, thank you, thank you, thank you, Fred. I'm proud of you too. Your growth has been so wonderful to see. So much love. Shell Jr. sitting here giving me the character say some reason plot summary for Rats of Nymph right now. Oh goodness. I think Meld will need to watch Nymph next Shell. I feel like that one sounds like pretty cursed as well. I don't know why. Hey Google, Rats of Nymph. Hmm. Yeah, like the first few photos I'm seeing, it's like putting some shivers down my spine. The Rats of Nymph is a trilogy of children's book. The first one, the second one, and the third one. They'll tell the story of a society of rats rendered intelligent by scientific experiment. That does sound pretty sick, but it's a book series. Maybe I'll listen to that as well. It does seem like there's a movie. Peppy is here as well. Hello, Peppy. You jelly jelly? Are you a jelly, Peppy? What do you want me to do with jelly, Peppy? She's like, come on, dude, come on. You should be giving me attention. Come on, dude. Maybe like make space. Maybe there should be space here somewhere. Underneath. There's no space there. My legs are there. They occupy space and time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Peppy. You snooze, you lose. Eva was first, and she seemed very comfortable right now. Let's see. Da 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 da. Dum 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 dum. I think Mel will need to watch the book Technology from a Farmer. Yes, that Love, Death and Robots episode where the rats actually do learn how to use tools and they start to rebel against the farmer and the machines that he employs to try and keep them away from his world. That was like a brutal episode as well. And it had a cool ending. You know, we made friends of the rats. We were like, oh, bro, let's stop killing one another and let's actually just try to vibe, you know, drink something together. That happens in the movie too. It's now the rats have electricity. They probably, you know, like I would like to see a world where the rats also become higher level beings. You know, maybe they can help us build on the small scale, right? Like the intricate part of our technology. They can help us assemble those things. Would be sick. Loki, if I could figure out living expenses, I would help people for free. I know you would, Dry Historian. I think a lot of us would. And because we're expected to survive, none of us have the luxury of it. And that's why we aren't helping people. I'm so glad you like Never Ending Story. I think it's crazy that there are adults who can write such fantastic works of art, obscenity, ostensibly for kids, but you're grown, we're grown, and it resonates still. I get you. I feel, you know, when I say this every single day with yoga, that the inner child of us still remains. Like literally, it hasn't gone away. You have added layers onto yourself, right? Layers of expectation, of hopes and dreams, even. They're not necessarily bad, but that it does kind of remove ourselves from this original part of ourselves, this willingness, this just gentle state of being, a curiosity, and an imagination. I feel like maybe that's what it is, right? There will be some people who watch that exact movie, especially with how it's aged, and be like, this is cringe. You should not watch this, right? What's wrong with you? How could you like something like this? And I can guarantee you that those would be the people who rank the highest with low imagination. Peppy, I can't help you, sweetie, sweetie, patweetie. She's so upset. Like she has a certain type of gait when she runs away and she's angry. And like she just like I can hear her little mind. Saying lots of things. Oh, okay. Da-da-da-da-da. There was this kind of punch in the face. Because if I leave my mom, she might cut me off. And I don't want to leave her with him. Because I'm the only one that doesn't trust him in the house. I get you, Dry. I'm sorry that you have to experience that state of reality. But if your mom cannot see that for herself, she'll have to see it for herself, kind of vibe, right? That unfortunately, some people only want to learn the hard way. And you're not wrong for getting out of there because you don't want to learn the hard way, right? I don't think so, at least. French toast next time. And the note I bid you all adieu. We love you, Kristen. Sending you blessings and safety for your workday as well. Your mom is going to cut you off if you leave home. Does she think you should stay there forever? Like, it sounds like such a weird fractal as well. It's like you leave, you get nothing, right? Almost like making the need to stay away stronger on the one side and also stronger to come back on the other as well. It's like a double whammy. Like, if it works out and I can stay away, I'll stay away forever. And if it works out and I can't stay away, it will cause me even more resentment. It's like you can only only lose in that case scenario. Her boyfriend is one of those, so I wouldn't be surprised if she stopped talking to me like she has other people. That's even worse. I can see the flies on the live stream side. I'm curious that it's visible there. Maybe it's the angle or something. Yeah, it's a trip seeing myself on two different fractals. You can kind of hear the guinea fowl. Controlling, abusive, narc. Yeah, that's a little bit of a yikes. Like one of these people who would like to make your country great again. You could only control yourself and what you do, no matter how your mom chooses to act. Agreed. Confederate losers. There's nothing. Your mother had an option to choose peace, and she did not. You have the same choice, Try. Like just inviting the lack of peace into your home. That's the thing that really confuses me. Why? Why do we do that to ourselves, if not out of fear? Especially out of fear of loneliness. I believe, and this is I don't know if it's a hot take, and it's probably popular as well, and it can be seen as naive. So, acknowledging all of these things, I believe money has been one of the biggest means to exploiting women in history, right? Because I imagine, in our society, that if men were abusive, at least in part, that women could move away and find themselves in a different space, actually knowing how to survive off the land, there would be a capacity for them to be free. But because of this money system and this intricate kind of like rules about earning it, it has taken away even more freedom away from so many women who are stuck in a position where they don't have the option to leave. Right? And that's something that doesn't sit well with me either. Like this fractal of exploitation opens up when this system of money as it is right now becomes accepted as well. And we're so deep inside of that I don't see it going away completely. I see us ensuring, right? Like that exploitation will still be possible, but I hope at least within the next 100 years, we can figure out a world where at least people have access to a place to go. Like if you're being abused in your home, there are other open homes where you can go and live. You can go and live with people who have gone through the same experience. You can connect with a community who could help you deal, who could give you the skills to spot these things coming from a mile away instead of when it's in your face. I'm so naive. I know that. I don't believe I have all of the answers, but I believe that there are better answers. And there are people out there on the world living right now. There are people educating themselves right now that will have the skills to teach people how to deal with these things better. Like that's the joke about this whole experience we call life as well. That there could be women suffering abusive relationships right now that are in a fucked up way being educated about what that means, and then because of that abuse become the person they're meant to be, and then get equipped with the know-how, the skills to actually help other people going through the same situation. It's like, again, right, everything is as it's meant to be, but we can imagine a world where it's better. And then because we have collectively imagined a world where it's better, there will still be things inevitably, but at least the percentages will shift slowly but surely. They're already low technically, and that's the good thing that we can kind of look into as well. But they could be zero. I imagine they could be zero. Getting closer and closer day by day, showing up for love, showing up for love. I've landed at my destination. Love you, friends. Love you, Jovan. Blessings to you and your day. Sending you love. Top today, totally off topic, but I was just looking at my date book and I realized today was my 100th day of doing yoga with Malti. I'm so proud of you, Lozana. 100 days. And she shows up even though her knee is, not capable of doing all of the poses that she could be expected to do, with the practice we do. She still shows up. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for that, Lozana. It's such a blessing always. Kate, so much love. Melty, we're talking about spiritual retreats. The new episode I'm watching just showed the characters walking into a spiritual retreat. That's going to be probably a little bit much for me because I want to go to a Vipassana, I think that's what it's called, 10-day silent retreat. There is one in the Western Cape. I'll have to fly down to Cape Town. I don't have to, but I want to fly down to Cape Town and go there. It's like $111 basically, 2 ways. And then technically the retreat is free, but they state that their cost of operating is like $160 as well per person per retreat. So I'm budgeting for that. It's gonna be like $500, maybe $600 or so to go for that 10-day retreat, plus like traveling expenses and stuff like that. I'm thinking about doing it close to day 1,000. But again, they'll have to check out or check off on the fact that I would want to do a stream, even if it's silent. And I probably won't be able to read your friends' comments. I think like I'll have to state that I won't read your comments because that might actually be important. So I'll have to figure something out. I'll have to like have some sort of system where I don't even write titles. Like I'm like rendering this fractal of imagining what loops I'm gonna have to jump through as an articulation to these people for them to allow me to continue doing my work, right? My commitment, because I made this commitment first, right? Yeah, this cool 10-day commitment to stay silent, but I have made this commitment and I'm 1,000 days in, right? 1,000 fucking days. So I'm not going to give up on this commitment to practice a 10-day commitment, right? I'll practice the 10-day commitment and I'll commit myself to it fully. I'll stay silent. I'll, embrace myself. I'll envelop myself in what I'm expected to do. But I will not do this, right? I'll do it silently. I'm silent. And I will die inside, and it'll probably be a part of my practice to be okay not being able to read your friends' comment, but if it be so, it should be so. The Rats of Nymph is also an animated movie. Check it out, Mel. I think I did see some of the screenshot of the animated movie. I'm guessing it's the trilogy. The actual full book series is only in books. Doesn't money just exploit people in general? Yes. It's control. People have been convinced that money is freedom. Money is control. That's all money actually is. It's a means to control thee. And that's why I have a hard time with it sometimes, right? But again, it can be seen as an energy exchange, as a means to bring change. Love is true. Everything happens as it's supposed to. In reality, abuse is universal, and the only way to solve it is a strong community and support system of love. Completely agreed, Connor. 10 days for 160, that's not bad. Agreed. Agreed. I also don't think it's that bad, actually. So that's why I'm like, I was actually gonna do like 3,000, it's like 2,800 Rand, and that's about 160 bucks. And I was thinking I'll give 3,333 Rand, which comes down to three, divided by 174. Yeah, I'll give like 174 bucks. I mean, it's not that much more, but still, I feel like it would be, at least in my mind, because I try to keep even my expenditures synchronistically. So if I have to like pay for something that costs 1,000 bucks, I'll sometimes ask the person, "Can I send you 1,111?" Sometimes I'll just do it, without them asking, and then they usually try to correct me, and I'm like, no corrections, only synchronicity, even in the finances. One more puff, and then we're gonna pull a card. This is going to be to imagine the best possible card for all of us, the most deep and significant message we can possibly get. Whoa, card time! Yeah, 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 yeah. Kalimba today. Actually, let's do Kalimba before we do the card pull. There we go. Yeah, Kalimba. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna put in some more effort and move my sun shield completely away so I can give you friends the full experience. The most worthy of experiences. Oof. Pippi instantly decided to take my seat. There we go. Yeah. My fingies be cold. My mom and I went on a 3-day silent retreat at the Benedictive Monastery in Humboldt, Saskatchewan. It was exquisite, especially for introverts. Silent group meals, we would all just smile and nod. That sounds like something I need. Like, seriously, Lausanne. I feel, I have been talking a lot over the last, at that point then, 1,000 days. And taking like a little bit of time to embrace silence, I think is going to be good food for my soul. There we go. What a treat. Got to watch the sunrise and the sunset. And then mind our own business. Just glorious. The food was insanely good. They grew their own veggies and stuff. I think they do it that way there as well, where it's like all vegetarian food, and they have like a little space. Okay, 4 minutes and 44 seconds of kalimba. Let's go. My main microphone wasn't even turned on. The sound might be even better now. You done? I'm happy. I felt like I was using her as a beat line at some point where she goes. I had to like really Zen mode 5000 myself. But it worked. We did it. Oh, no, what are you barking at? Zen mode 5000 lost. Damn it, come back. Yes, I am so zen. Barking means nothing to me. I'm not considering how it registers in an exact wavelength in my mind that it keeps alerting my brain to danger. Danger, 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 or the hey, hey, danger. Like, please, there's no danger. You're barking at nothing. You're barking at your imagination. Boom. Yes, yes, grounded. Really want a solo trip. The stars just haven't aligned yet. Yeah, they don't tend to do that, bro. They don't want to align. I had that experience as well where I was like, oh, I think I should take a little bit of mushrooms today. And then the time came and I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, I don't want to go through all of that, you know? Who knows? I'm going to be so vulnerable. Oh, my base state is going to come closer to my base level of imagination. Blue for the card pool. We pulled the blue yesterday as well, so let's see if you're correct. I shuffled the deck once. This one. This is the card. Oh, please be blue. Is that blue? I mean, that's blue technically, right? Very light blue. Medium blue. Star tetrahedron. This is such a sick card as well. Two interpenetrating tetrahedrons. I should do Merkaba meditation today. I feel that sounds like a good idea. Maybe we can even do one together. Maybe that's not a bad idea. If some of your friends would be willing to. Ooh, dry, got it. Got some blues. I feel we have been sending a lot of energy to Dry Story, and so it's not surprised to me that she was so in tune. Card time. And there definitely is some yellow stripes. I feel like a lot of them. Yellow stripes up front here, yellow stripes in the back there, yellow stripes behind the cube. This card has some freaking cool energy. I would like to see the shape folded out. Like, that's my mind trying to deconstruct it as well. Card number 12. Vehicle, Merkaba. Yes, group meditation. Let's do it. Whew. This important three-dimensional shape in sacred geometry results from the interpenetration of two tetrahedrons. One, upward-facing male, and the other, downward-facing female. Together they form a beautiful configuration called the star tetrahedron, or a Merkaba. The Merkaba is believed to be an instrument of expanded awareness, a time-space vehicle for multidimensional travel, and a path towards ascension. Choosing this card connects you with the aspect of your being that stretches beyond everyday life and promises to support your understanding of evolving consciousness and universal wisdom. What was today's whole stream topic about? Imagination. Choosing this card connects you with aspects of your being that stretches beyond everyday life. Oh my goodness. And promises to support your understanding of evolving consciousness, conscious evolutions, And universal wisdom, love. That's universal wisdom, right? No matter where you go, I can promise you, if any species figured out how to become super advanced, they're gonna be like, yeah, we actually loved one another, and then we worked together as a unity to achieve greatness for our species, right? Because that's what a loving thing does for itself. It's like, oh, it's pretty universal. Oh, you have to be stupid to not. I'm sorry. The aliens talking to us like, please, thank you, aliens. You may want to employ this image to help balance your male and female aspects. You might decide to construct your own star tetrahedron and embellish it with personal symbols. You may wish to learn one of the breathing meditations that are widely available and help you to experience the Merkaba as an interdimensional vehicle. Any way you decide to apply this energy, regard it as a powerful model for the manifestation of dynamic balance and the evolution of your vision. Yow! I asked for a card that is going to be perfectly synchronous and significant to today's stream topic, and the universe delivered. Thank you. Thank you for the wisdom. Dry, you were dialed in. My brain said blue, green, and purple. And I was like, just pick one, because there's something lines. I mean, blue, green, and purple are all present in this card as well. So you would have been right in all of them, technically. You're dialed in. I've never had that much intuition on a card before. That's crazy. And that's you, Dry Story. That's the energy you have, right? Sure, I pulled a card, but I was just feeling into it. And somehow, because of the energy you shared, that feeling also arose in me. Intuition begets more intuition. Our imagination extends. That masculine and feminine energy vibes is a whole vibe. Let's do a meditation actually. And this card has no reverse meaning even. Just straight up, yeah. This is how it is. This is how it be. Let's do a meditation together. We'll employ the YouTube. I'll give the friend's name. I don't know if there's any legal implications of stuff like this. I wish I didn't have to think about this. I'm gonna try and share good vibes with my friends and the person that made these good vibes possible, right? Like I don't see any loss here. Why do I have to worry about it? Merkaba meditation. I guess that's simple enough. There's a 20-minute one. There's a 10-minute one. That has more views. Being brain damaged by the algorithms, yes. Merkaba meditation. Let's do, like, I feel like that 20-minute one is the one calling to me, honestly. It has like 777 hertz next to it as well. There's 7 friends in this space with us right now. So I feel like my battery is on 70% on this one. Okay, 36. Man, if it was 37, I would have done a backflip, but no backflips. Let's imagine. You imagine there was a 7 and then I stood up and I did a full backflip and then I came and sat back down. Right? Technically, in another world, that's exactly what happened. Not in this. Okay, I'm stalling. I'm tripping out about this meditation that's coming up. Let's do it. Let's just do it.
I'm your host, Brian Scott.
Brian Scott, the reality revolution. Love to Brian Scott. There's a person in the world. I see a triangle. Okay, I don't know how much of that was lost. Okay, I think we should just get into it. Let me see some friends. Okay, are we ready? Let's do it. Brian Scott, that's the friend we're sending love to. It's his voice we're going to hear today. His channel is called Brian Scott. Easy peasy. Let's go.
Today we're going to do a quick Merkaba meditation. I have a Merkaba activation meditation that's a long meditation on the channel. The Merkaba is essentially a spaceship that surrounds your body that you can utilize spinning tetrahedrons. So I would refer you to that episode for further explanation. But if you follow my exact wording and do this 30 days in a row, something amazing happens. You have a permanently spinning Merkaba You remember it almost every day. Once you are within an activated, fully spinning Merkaba on a regular basis, you're able to quantum jump into a vast multiverse of realities. And you are
I just
able
want to be present,
to
bro.
program matter and the very light and reality that exists around you within the field of your Merkaba. It's truly amazing.
Okay,
The key
bro.
points to remember is that
Like I love this kind of stuff. Like I love it. You don't have to sell it to me. Oh, please. Please, like I've bought and paid. Let me have it. And also the 30 days thing is like, yeah, like you shouldn't experience any benefit, but maybe after 30 days of doing this, maybe then no, there can be benefit just for this fake sake. Okay, I'm stalling again.
you're breathing in further.
Let's
The
gonna
second,
skip the intro.
let's begin.
Thank you. 3 minutes in.
Relax.
Okay.
Close your eyes and let go of the outside world. Shift to your heart. And in this moment, as you slow down your breath, bringing your consciousness to your heart, you become aware of an unconditional love of all things, gratitude, joy, and love that fills your heart for all things. Get used to the patterns of your breath, and we will begin. Placing the thumb and forefinger together. You take your first breath. Breathing in. The first mudra, the first breath. Imagine that around your body there are two joint tetrahedrons, which together form a star tetrahedron. The upper tetrahedron is the sun tetrahedron. Exhale. The lower tetrahedron is the earth tetrahedron. Exhaling, you let all the air out of your body as much as you can, clearing your body and mind of negative energy, seeing it all go down through your feet down into the earth. The second mudra, thumb and second finger, the second breath. Inhale for 5 to 8 seconds. The air fills your midriff and your chest. Exhale now. Exhaling, you let the air out of your body, thus clearing another electrical circuit together with your body and mind. The third mudra, the third breath, third finger touching thumb. All the time, your awareness is placed in your heart. Again, steadily, you are filling your body with air. Exhaling. Exhaling. You are clearing another electrical circuit of your body. The fourth mudra, thumb and pinky finger, the fourth breath. You are slowly filling your stomach with air. Exhale now with the same pace you're exhaling the air, and you're disposing of all contamination all the time. Your awareness is residing in your heart. The fifth mudra, the fifth breath. Thumb and forefinger, take a deep breath. Your midriff and chest are filling in with air. Exhale. Contamination and negativity is leaving your body and mind. The sixth mudra, the second finger and thumb, the sixth breath. Inhale the air deep into your belly. Your chest is filling in with air. Exhaling with the same pace, you are disposing of the contamination and negativity from the sixth electrical circuit. The seventh mudra, the seventh breath, keeping the thumb and second finger together. Through the pranic tube, through the top of your head, and from below, through the secret chakra. Two powerful streams of energy are flowing in, and they become united into a sphere, which is growing while you take another 3 breaths, same mudra. The eighth breath. The air keeps flowing through your body, and the energy keeps flowing through the pranic tube. The sphere in your stomach keeps growing, and at the end of this breath is filling the whole stomach. The ninth breath. The air keeps flowing through your body, and the energy keeps flowing through the pranic tube. While you're exhaling, the sphere is becoming brighter and brighter. The 10th breath. At the moment of utmost possible concentration, see how the ball is flashing and how it is changing its quality and its color. Exhale now. Make a small opening in your mouth and exhale the air under pressure. The golden sphere is expanding to the size of your body, reaching out like Leonardo da Vinci. It contains your whole body. The 11th breath. Relax. Feel how the star tetrahedron is surrounding you. Feel the stream of prana flowing through your body. Breathe calmly, filling the golden sphere with prana. The 12th breath. The prana of the sphere is now being maintained, visualized, and reinforced. The 13th breath. Don't forget, the awareness is still residing in your heart. If you have forgotten, summon it back to your heart now. Relax. The 14th breath. The 8th mudra. Using the energy of your mind, you move the sphere, which is now at the level of your solar plexus, to the level of your heart. It is a great, qualitative, significant change which transfers your consciousness from 3rd to 4th density. You are now connected to the higher self. You can rest your hands comfortably together at your navel, cradled right on top of left. The 15th breath. Inhaling, you're filling your stomach with air at a steady pace. You're activating the engine of the Merkaba light body. The tetrahedrons are swirling around your body. The male tetrahedron to the left. The female tetrahedron to the right. The neutral tetrahedron stays motionless. The 16th breath. 34 to 21. Feel how from the place where your first primeval cells of your body were placed at your tailbone, there is a disc with 18 meters in diameter sliding out. Now, your Merkaba light body is linking with the whole field of sacred geometry. The 17th breath. 9/10, the speed of light. Feel and see how both the male and female tetrahedrons are swirling at the speed of 9/10, the speed of light. Your Merkaba light body has reached its full potential. Feel how this powerful source of energy is surrounding you. Feel that you can safely stay within it, as if you were at home. only, in an absolutely pure state of mind, with the awareness that is constantly residing in your heart and linked to the cosmos and Mother Earth. Are you able to program your Merkaba light body? Feel that you are part of something infinitely great, and that eventually it is you who are infinitely great. For a quick moment, program your Merkaba light body to do whatever you want, in whatever field that you want to program it in your life. You can say affirmations, you can visualize what it is you want to create. Anything is possible in this moment in your Merkaba. Now come back to yourself. Take a moment to feel your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Become aware of the room around you. You can open your eyes. Now go out into the day, shining like the star that you are, with your fully activated spinning Merkaba. Welcome to the reality revolution.
Thank you, Brian Scott, for guiding us through that practice. I had some wacky times. As soon as I found myself in my vehicle, I decided to go for a ride. First, visited all the planets. And then after I visited the planets and I realized I could travel faster than the speed of light. You can travel significantly faster than the speed of light because you can jump through imagination, right? I was like, oh wait, all our planets, one to the other to the other. And then I was like, actually, I want to fly into a black hole. That's where my mind goes. So I reorient to the center of our galaxy and I go straight into a black hole. And then as soon as I enter it, I realize I'm a cell entering an egg. And I open my eyes and I'm like, oh no. oh goodness. To a sperm cell, the egg is a black hole that ends up integrating it into itself, birthing a whole new dimension. Your capacity for imagination. And I was like, oh, wait a second. That's insane and way too much for me to handle right now. So I continued imagining and experiencing this feeling when I listened to this little and I was trying to and I redirected this vehicle as I was in it to go inside my brain and look at where the neurons are that is expressing that sound, where they find themselves. And the more I was trying to find this place, it was almost like there was this part of my skull. Instead of it being skull, it was like the inside wall of my neurons, of my cortex. And then instead of seeing it as a nuisance, like this bzz, 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 bzz that's hurting me, I saw it as a flower kind of like blooming, going through that process of being exposed to the sun and kind of like opening up more and more. And it articulated in my mind this ability to potentially attach language to a model of flowers, where as you listen to someone talk, it literally sounds like flowers blooming, psychedelic flowers blooming. And then I imagined the future. I traveled to the part of me that's 1,000 years old, and it was quite interesting to see me in that state of being. And then we came back. Puppy, what are you barking at? Dearest doggo, please, oh please, can you be quiet for me? Dad is back. Didn't think be back this early actually. Let's see. Flower language, right? Right? I mean, like, think about it. It makes sense to me, like theoretically, because I almost had to like build it into my own brain, because that sound doesn't sound like flowers blooming. But the more energy I invest into it, and because I've been brain damaging myself with flowers for like 500 and something days in a row, I'm like pretty flower oriented. I'm like, oh yes, how can I make this sound that could be potentially irritating to my brain? Flowers. How can I do that? And then I did. So it can be done, right? Now we just have to figure out how to share that. Imagination. Imagination. How can we access our own imagination so we can do stuff like that? It was wonderful. Thank you, Melty. Thank you, Shan, for doing it with me. I was about to pass out. That was amazing. Who is that? Dude, I said his name like 5 times. Oh, Connor. Now I feel bad because I already forgot. Brian Scott? I think so. I think it's Brian Scott. I was asking the universe, like, please, neurons, please bring it back. Oh, tell me what his name is. I think his name is Brian Scott. Connor. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Shan. You see, collective computing, this memory. We can literally have a part of us that remembers outside of ourselves. Yeah, I love this life. Flower language is real. Yes, it is. It is real. Me too. Brains. I've been watching a couple of his videos. Oh, you have already? Oh, nice. Even better. I'm sorry. I just got back when you were halfway in. It's okay, Brother Bear. I was just kind of like laughing at the fact that I was like, yes, honor Brian Scott for this experience he gifted us. I'm not trying to steal his content. We are experiencing it together. We're sending him the love that he's deserved of, And then you're like, who was this? I don't want to forget. I thank you, dearest friends, for joining me again, for finding yourself so beautifully present. Flower practitioners talk flower language. You're actually right. Oh goodness, now oh my. Oh, now you're even tripping me out more, Shan. Because there was this layer of me that felt like, oh yes, this makes sense. And then I realized, wait a second, this is what Shan's whole thing is. This is like this is what Shan has been studying, spending so much time, like making sure she remembers. So much love. God bless you too, so much, beloved Connor. Uh, I have angered Melt and Brian Scott. Both Melt and Brian Scott has their Merkaba scorn. No, of course not. I love you, bro. I love you so much. I just, it's an ego thing, right? Where my ego was like, bro, you better not forget. Oh, that's rude. That's rude. Can't forget. I have to remember everything. Exactly, Mel. So much love, Shan. You already know. Have the most beautifulest day, everyone. I for really love you all so, Vera. Very super, mega massively, monstrously, momentously, dearly. Melt and all of you marvelously, miraculous, magical friends. So many M's. I feel it. Medicine Mother. So much love to you as well. Thank you for joining me, for spending these moments, making them magical, blessing me with your majesty. Kristen, here again. Lovin's to you. We're just about shooting out. I have to remember everything. I have to remember everything. Exactly, dude. Sucks. But it seems to be my derivative or my directive. Something is motivating me to. For some reason, that combination of hearts is held for review, dude. Love you too, Connor. Blessings, dear friends. I'll see you again soon. We'll do like a whole rotation. Actually, in 40 seconds, it's gonna be 2 hours, 22 minutes. So I'm gonna wait like 10. Peppy and Eva Voof, what are you barking at? There we go. Toot toot, toot toot doo, toot toot doo toot toot. Thank you for joining me again. I'll see you soon. Mwah. Love you. To the moon and back. Back to the moon and then back again. And then back to the moon again and then back. And then back to the moon and then back again and then back to the moon.